Well, good evening, everybody. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. And as always, I'm so thrilled whenever you take the time to join me. Tonight it is paper pumpkin time. Yeah, I'm going to show these alternatives that I created. I had so many more in mind to share with you, but boy, the time does fly sometimes, and that's what happened to me this week, so it just did not happen. So Meaningful Flowers is the name of the latest kit. These are the cards that came in the kit to be created, and I honestly this time did not make one at all as instructed. So I just wanted to just make my own. So this is what I came up with. So let's get started. I want to do this one first. Fairly easy, just a couple little cuts and a little bit of blending, which is one of my favorite things to do. So top folding card, that means it's 11 by 4 1/4. This is the thick basic white. I have a piece. This is actually from the kit. I don't know if I can find one quick enough. That is, oh, here it is. I actually cut mine down. So I cut mine down to 3 3/4 by 5. So, I mean, there really isn't much of a difference there, but I did want you to see that it has been cut down. So now let me see if I can find a place to put that. Like I said, 3 3/4 by 5. That means then this is Melon Mambo, a color I rarely use. I actually had to dig around to find where mine was. And anyway, this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Now, before I get the two together, I'm going to do a little bit of blending. So let me just move some stuff because I can get a little wild and crazy with the blending. I'm going to bring in just some scrap paper. I am also going to bring in some Orchid Oasis for the ink color. So I have the, I don't know, purple, blue purple. I just happen to grab the small blender brush. It doesn't matter. You can use either one. So I'm just going to do this bottom portion. Now there is vellum that comes in the kit to provide you with some color down here. When I get done here, I'll see if I can find a piece of it. I have to be very honest with you. I did not care for the colors in the vellum. So that's why I decided to do my own blending. Got a little wild and crazy there. So I'm going to have to kind of go into there and blend that out. But what I really want is it to be really dark down here at the bottom. So really putting on lots of color there and then coming up where it's a little bit lighter then. Let me see. Yep, there we go. So let me get this stuff put away. I am also going to, let me wipe my fingers real quick before I go anywhere near anything because it could get a little messy then whenever you do some blending. Oh, here we go. I did find the piece of vellum. So here we go with that vellum. And I thought instead of using the vellum that I would, like I said, do my own blending. This shows some lily pads. That looks like it's in garden green. So there is in one of the stamp sets, because this kit you got a bonus stamp set, but in this one, this is the lily pad that I'm going to use then in stamp. Let me show you also the bonus stamp set you get with the 2 lotus flowers, the small and large, and then the stem too. So, all right, so let me set this aside. Next I want to do is do some stamping. Now I'm using the Pretty Peacock. I just wanted to sort of copy the lily pads that are already there. And I just didn't, I liked this stamp because it wasn't solid. And I don't know, I kind of liked doing it this way with the stamping as opposed to having that vellum that had those solid lily pads on it. So let me just get one more. Okay, now a lot of that is going to get covered up when I put the flower down, but I did want to just add a little something there. So let me just kind of, like I say, my hands are getting very much on the inky side. All right, we are good here. So I'm going to go ahead now, find my Melon Mambo, and go ahead and get this adhered down. It's then going to end up onto the card base. And then the focal point, the element that I'm adding on to this actually comes from the kit. But I'm sure you can use any flowers, use this idea, like I said, with any flowers you may have, or any sort of scene in which you can do a little bit of blending, some stamping, get your focal point in there, and make a beautiful card. So here, let me go ahead and get this put straight down to the card. I didn't do a lot of dimensionals. I debated about popping this panel up as well. But I'll be honest with you, I was, as I said earlier, I was running out of time. So I kept it really, really, really simple. This is the image that I was telling you about, this focal point here, the element that was from the kit. So you just pop that right out. I stamped on it in the Pretty Peacock. That was the Stampin' Spot that was included in the kit. So I know I'm just using my full ink pad tonight. I don't even know where I put the ink spot. It found its way on my desk, which is super messy as always, so who knows where it is. So answer me this, who cleans up in between projects? Like you're done with a project and you clean up your space right away. Anybody do that? Because I sure don't. I envy people who can do that. So good for you. That is, like I said, that's not me. I feel like I need all of that stuff around me, even though it frustrates me to no end when I can't find anything. Like right now, I can't find, oh, here they are, my glue dots. All right, I just have a little piece now of linen thread that I've already tied a bow, or tied into a bow. I like to just get my scissors and just roll this mini glue dot. And that way it'll hide behind the knot really nicely. So let me just kind of straighten this out a bit. There we go. Okay, push that down in there. If you need to kind of shove the glue dot under so it's not sticking out, do so. And my linen thread wants to twist on me. We'll play with that later. But I also wanted to show you these cool clear dots that also came in the kit. I really like these. Number one, because they are relatively flat. I really do like that. So I hate the big bulky ones. So let me just add these right. So it almost, I like that it's makes me think of like ripples of water or something with those clear dots there. So hey, this card's done now. So there we go. All right, on now to the second one. Let me see if I can find it to show you. Here we go. I stayed with that again with that lotus flower image that's in there. There's that plus the forget-me-nots. So those are the two flowers that are featured in this kit. So this one I just brought in some other elements that I have already in my stash. So never be afraid to do that when you're making alternatives with your paper pumpkin. So pool party this time, top folding. I have a piece of the basic white, the 4 by 5 1/4. Here is a piece of, this is the Bubble Bath DSP out of the Subtles pack. This measures 3 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this adhered down. One less thing for me to lose or have it fall off my desk. So I'm just putting it in the upper left corner off to the side. You certainly can rearrange this differently however you would like. Now, again, this is that piece that I wish I could find again. I put it somewhere. But that water lily or lotus flower image that I cut up. Here we go. So now all I did was I cut off from the bottom, a little bit from the top, and then I really wanted these flowers. So you can see on my sample that I'm using a sliver from here, but I also wanted to use this piece that has the bigger flower. So this actually measures 1 3/4 by 3. So that's the size of that. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock that I'm going to layer behind it. I actually have this one to be 1/4 of an inch bigger. So that means it's 2 by 3 1/4. So tell you what we're going to do is go ahead and adhere that down as well. So I thought this was fun that out of that one piece, I was able to get the 2 cards out of. So there we go there. It will come here onto my card. So, but I'm going to hold on because I wanted to show you then the flower. This is that lotus flower that was the additional set that we got, a free fun set that came with this paper pumpkin kit. So I'm going to show you what I did to get the flower. So you can sort of see, let me bring it up a little bit closer, how it has a little bit darker on the tips. So let me just bring in, I have the flower. I actually am using, I very often like to create my own Stampin' Spots. So Stampin' Up sells the empty ones, so you can then use your re-inkers and fill them up yourself. So that's what I did here with the Bubble Bath and the Moody Mauve. Especially for techniques like this, I like to have that smaller surface then of the ink pad. So rather than the entire, the large Stampin' pad. So I'm going to start, this is the smaller of the 2 flowers in that stamp set. Inked it up first in the Bubble Bath. Now I'm going to take the Moody Mauve and I'm just going to kind of swipe it along the tips. A couple weeks ago I did this with another stamp set and I love just this little hint of another color. And this time I just wanted those tips to be a little bit darker. So that's why I'm using then the Moody Mauve. And then you'll just stamp it down. And there it is. Beautiful. I used the stem then also from that stamp set and used Pool Party for that. So that's how I made that flower. So let's go ahead now and start putting this together. I'm going to go and get this put down to the card front, or to the card base rather. So once you get it all put, all the pieces cut and what have you, the putting it together hardly takes any time at all. So let me just make sure I'm doing it that I don't have my card base upside down. let me just show you too on the inside, another piece of the 4 by 5 1/4 of the white. This strip is actually the other side of this pattern of the paper. So that's what's fun about the double-sided papers. You might have a hard time deciding which one you want to use. So, okay, so here we go there. Now let me get this piece, and I have it popped up, ready to go. I apologize that it takes me a little bit longer to get these papers off from my dimensionals. I cut my nails way back, and now I hardly have anything to grab onto the papers. So it's driving me nuts, to be honest with you. So here we go. I have nothing to grab with. All right, so I'm gonna just put this now on the right side, and here we go. I am also going to now layer the circle up with this flower that I stamped. Obviously then, oh, this is, again, Pretty Peacock, that I used that same sentiment stamp then and just stamped it right over top the flower. Now, because I'm overlapping a portion of it with this that is popped up, I made sure to only put my dimensionals on the side that will not overlap. And you know how I love all my dimensionals. So let me do this, try and get the paper off first, since it does take me a while to do that. So if school started in your area, it has here for everybody, and everybody is like out of sorts. I think they just need to get that routine going again, and then everything will be fine and dandy. All right, so let me push that down. I do like to put where it overlaps. I do like to put a little bit of the liquid glue, and there we go. So now, again, another linen thread dot. Again, let me get my glue dot with my scissors. I like to just use them to kind of roll it on itself. And then I will put it right here. And let's pop this down. All right, and at any time, you know, adjust your tails the way you like them. And let me find now my, here we go, these clear embellishments. I will get them on also. So here we go. Let's just start putting some around. And one of the smaller sizes, and there we go. All right, card number 2 is done. I'm loving these colors. Even though this mauve color has a kind of a purpley shade to it, I'm okay with that one. All right, next is the last card that I was able to get done. Now this one features the forget-me-nots. Here is what I want to show you, is the card base as intended for the kit. So here is what it looks like. Now at this point I wanted to make a 4th card that featured this panel. Obviously, like I said, I didn't get to it, but I did cut down here a little bit off to the side from the fold. I didn't want that actual fold, so I just, you know, moved it over a sliver, cut it off from that. So I still have this to create something with, but I have Tahitian Tide top folding card on this. Now on the inside is my white, which I stamped this little cluster of forget-me-nots. This comes from the stamp set that was included in the kit. I have a piece of the Lemon Lolly. hard to believe that that's what this is under here. So I'm going to show you how I got that. Now here is the piece then that I cut off from the card base that was in the kit. And then my sentiment, and of course another linen bow. Okay, I better bring back my scrap paper because yes, I am going to do some more ink blending. So this time I wanted, that looked fine, having the light yellow. I don't know, I just wanted to kind of bring out the intensity of the yellow, deepen it. I don't know what the word is I wanted. I just wanted a little something. So Daffodil Delight, and if I can get a hold of it, my blending brush. So excuse me, here we go. So let's get this going, and I'm just going to turn it sideways here. Again, I want the intensity to be near the top, and I do want to kind of bring it down a little bit as well. So let's do a couple more of these. Never be afraid to go both clockwise and counterclockwise whenever you're doing your blending. That way, I just feel like it gives it a little bit better of a coverage than that way. Now, also another thing right now, yes, it looks icky right now. Don't be afraid too to bring back your piece to see if that's what you want. I do want to keep this area light, but I did not like it being light along the right side here. So let's go ahead and bring down some more ink there. So I'm going to take a lot of it off though, because I don't want it super dark there, but I don't want it to be just that light, subtle yellow color. So let me see. Let me bring this back. And a little bit more. I find ink blending to be very relaxing. Some people say coloring relaxes them. Coloring stresses me out to no end, let me tell you. So, but ink blending like this, I love it. So, I'm thinking this is the way that I'm gonna want that. Perfect. So I still have a little bit of light here that kind of makes me think like it's the bright sun that's coming through, and then the darkness, the darker colors of the yellow than around the edges. So, okay. Again, I had thought about popping this up, but I decided on mine, and I will do the same with you. I'm just gluing it down. So that way you don't have to see me pulling off 1,000 little pieces from the dimensionals. So, oh, let me get rid of my scratch paper here in just a moment. Let me move this around, make sure I get this where I want it. Okay, let me get this out of the way now. So here we go. That is down. Let's get this down to our card base. What a difference, huh? Between that and then just adding the Daffodil Delight onto that. I thought about doing crushed curry, but it was almost too dark. So I decided to go with the Daffodil Delight instead. Because you can always layer up the color. Once you put a dark color down, there is no coming back from that. So, all right. This time I went with garden green for my color. I just really liked the greens that were in here, so I wanted to really highlight them. So that's what the color I used of ink for this sentiment. This was one of the stylish shapes. I don't think I told you about this card. This is the stylish shape dies as well. I did the two different ones here. This is the Moody Mauve, the solid one here. I don't believe I mentioned that. But this is also part of the stylish shapes. So that is a set of dies that is a must. I have to admit, it is a must for your die collection. I use mine a ton. So, all right, let's get one more glue dot, roll it up on itself. Let me get my scissors. And there we go. And I had several flowers in which to choose from that I wanted to put this on. So I just happened to go with that one. Here we go with that. And I'm actually going to leave the tails the way they are. And of course, one more round of the embellishments. So, like I say, I feel like this just looks like raindrops or something that's on these. So I really do like these. So, besides the fact that they're relatively flat. So, all right, there's card number 3. Let me bring back the other 2 so I can show to you all of them. All 3 that I got done that were alternatives to the paper pumpkin kit. Like I said, this is a rare time where I did not make any of the cards as instructed. I just thought I wanted to pull the images that were in there and make use of them that way. So, but anyway, hey guys, I again always appreciate when you're joining me. Hope you had fun. I know I certainly did. And you know, pull out your kit and see what else you can make. If you don't subscribe to Paper Pumpkin but would be interested in doing so, let me know. I'll provide a link for it so that you can do just that. Also, there is my mind that just left me. I told you this has been it's been a crazy week, but I will have these cards up on my blog. That's lindaloucreates.com, and you'd be able to see the cards individually. If you didn't catch the measurements, you'll be able to do so at that time too. So I guess what I wanted to say prior to kind of blanking out there for a minute was, if you don't have the kit, use some of these ideas. You know, you could just get some paper, some designer series paper, and just cut it down at an angle, and you still have that same idea and, you know, a sentiment, and boom, card is done. This one is a fun little layout with a couple different layers. Same thing here. Just a focal image, maybe some blending, maybe some stamping in the background. Use an embossing folder, any of the above, and then put your focal image down, and you've got it good. So, well, I think I've babbled on enough. I certainly hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye now.